Right, hello everyone. So here I've got a selection of the kinds of activities that we at the Francis Crick take out to festivals. So I told you a bit earlier about the kinds of things that we do in our own public spaces, but we're really interested in engaging with people off-site, particularly in the community, and young people and families. So we go to quite a lot of community festivals and we partner with bigger organisations when they have festivals. So one of the things we've been at is Imperial College London's annual Festival of Science. So these are the kinds of things, quite lo-fi, very portable, that have been developed by me and my team in collaboration with researchers. And the idea is that they act as a jumping off point for discussion, and that we recruit scientists to come along with us and to deliver the activities. The answers are under there, yeah, but I'm going to challenge you. So here's a range of things, and they all use images that have been made by Crick scientists, and they all relate to Crick science as well. So they're very kind of specific. So first of all, I wanted to challenge you to the mystery microscope image activity. So here we've got some beautiful images that have all been made by researchers at the Crick using a variety of different microscopy techniques. Here we've got some cards which have the descriptions of them. So you can match them up to them. But does anyone want to hazard a guess about what any of these things look like?
It looks like the face of a bug.
It really does, with those big eyes.
Probably is it not?
It's someone's face.
It's someone's face.
Of
a mosquito?
No,
that's
should be
sort of
a cross-section of the skull with a
Yeah.
brain in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see it.
And what animal do you think it might be?
Is it a frog?
Human.
Yeah.
That's not a human head, no. And we don't research on humans. Instead, we use model organisms. So model organisms are so called because they are good models for disease in humans. So it's some sort of smaller animal.
Is it a fish?
Mouse.
No, it's a mouse. Yes, well done. We do use fish, so it was a good guess. So it is.
Can we have a card for mouse?
Yeah,
And place it right here.
indeed.
There.
So there you go. It's a horizontal slice through the head of a mouse embryo. So we have scientists that work on genetic mutant strains of mice. They come to us from Cambridge, from the Wellcome Genome Campus. And our scientists fix the embryos in a hard substance and then slice them very, very thinly using a microtome, then image each of the slices. So this is one of many thousands of slices. They're then digitized on a computer program and built up to rebuild a digital image of the embryo, which then can be manipulated in space and you can kind of fly through. So I've been shown a video where you can go into down the trachea and into the heart of the mouse, and you can see how the genetic mutations affect the development of the heart and its chambers. So they're trying to look for, the eventual application of that research is about congenital heart disease and birth defects. So they're using mice as a way to investigate that. Which one should we pick next?
Sprouting.
Oh, okay.
This one, I really like this one. I think it's beautiful. It does look kind of organic, doesn't it? It looks a bit like those plants you get on Star Trek.
Yeah.
But it is, again, an animal.
Is it hairs?
Sort of.
Inside.
So they're kind of filaments. I guess they're little hairs, yeah. So there are all these repeating structures, and this is a small detail of the whole. Does anyone know what it might be?
Kind of like a fly or something?
Yeah, exactly. Which part?
Hairy part.
It's actually a part of the eye.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a part of the compound eye of a fly. So there's
eyes creep me out.
Oh, I think they're amazing. I love how regular it is.
Yes.
So this is very tiny, and this is a small detail of the many thousand different lenses that make up the whole of the compound eye. And the fruit fly is another organism which we've got lots of at the Crick. It's used a lot in genetics research. And we love the fruit fly because they're very easy to keep, they breed quickly, they're very happy to live in lab conditions. So these are filaments, and no one really knows the function of them. But one theory is that they help to reduce glare. So when the sun's slanting in on the eyes, it helps the flies to see very precisely. which is why you can never catch them when you spot them, because they can see much better than we do. Yeah, they've got much better eyes than we do. And another great thing about the eye is it's a really good window into the genetic kind of health of the fruit fly as a whole. So when you get genetic mutant strains of fruit flies, often their eyes are really distorted and they haven't developed properly. And that's something you can see really easily. It's much more difficult to dissect a fruit fly and look at its insides. But when you can image it under the microscope and just look at its eye, you can see very quickly whether it's a regular structure like you see here. This is a normal one. It's obviously not this colour. This has been falsely coloured. Or whether it's in some way distorted because of some genetic mutation that it's carrying, which might have consequences for humans too. Right, so that's that one. So let's do this one next, because you were interested in that. So what do you think?
Looks like one of two processes. Either a fusion process or a diffusion.
It is fusion, yes. So something is fusing with something else. So
See that?
yeah.
Wow.
So this is some kind of pathogen. And do you want to hazard a guess as to which one?
Bacteria.
It's actually the influenza virus. Yeah. So influenza is something we work on at the Crick. So we've got the World Influenza Centre at the Francis Crick Institute. So every year they work on the new strains of influenza that are being identified in the UK and elsewhere, and they come up with the next year's vaccine. And also, if there are any outbreaks of zoonotic influenzas, they will be sent to the Crick, where they have containment level 4, which at the moment is not used but is ready to go. And it's this really exciting space which is deep down in the bowels of the Crick. And it has kind of submarine-style metal doors, and it's hugely reinforced because a lot of these influenza viruses would be particularly nasty. So yeah, this is the influenza virus fusing with liposomes. So as I said, like a lot of our scientists are looking at the mechanisms by which pathogens infect living cells and looking at the kind of cellular processes that the pathogens, the viruses and the bacteria kind of hijack in order to do their nefarious work. Okay, what should we do next? Yeah, so what can you see here?
A cross-section of the tongue.
It's not a cross-section, it's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah. So this has been specially stained so that every cell has an outline. So actually every little circle you can see is an individual cell. So what might this be?
Mammary gland.
It's an embryo.
It's an embryo.
Yeah. This is actually a 5-day-old fruit fly embryo. So you can see how it used to be a ball of cells that were all just the same. They've divided and grown, and now you can see just about that that the fruit fly is starting to develop segments that will eventually become the larva. This might even become its eye. So I think as you look closer, you can see that actually it's starting to differentiate and starting to take on specialisation. And you can see the kind of the form of the eventual organism kind of starting to be revealed. So that is the fruit fly embryo. So you can choose this one or this one. So this is my favourite. I think this looks like abstract art.
Yeah.
I'd put this on my wall.
It's an actual
Yeah.
microscopy image?
Yes, it is. Yeah. It's false coloured. Yeah. So it's actually what they've done is switch the black and white. So what you're seeing here is the negative of the actual image, which is why there's so much white in it, and then it's been falsely coloured, just to make it look pretty. And I asked the scientist, "What do the colours mean?" And she said, "Oh, nothing at all. I just really like them." So there you go. Scientists can be creative. So it is something linked to the brain, and so it's not quite synapses, but what it is
Astrocyte.
no, it is part of the eye. So it is the optic nerve entry on the retina. So what you're seeing is all of the nerves in the eye going towards what is actually the blind spot at the back of the retina. So actually the retina would be huge, and you're seeing a little detail. So this is going into the brain from the back of the eye.
Some blood vessels in there too, then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
These are blood vessels.
These little ones are, yeah. So that leaves this one, our final image.
Let me start by saying it looks very beautiful.
It is beautiful, isn't it?
beautiful.
I think it looks like a flower, like a tropical flower. So again, this one's been false coloured. It's been coloured with fluorescent dyes. So things have been tagged.
Part of the fruit fly again, is it? Or is that part of the leg?
So this is a very close-up image of a single cell, and what's happening to it is it's dying. So it's starting to come apart. All the organelles are starting to come apart, and actually the blue dye is a tag for the nucleus. So you can see that its nucleus, unlike this one, which is nice and together still, is starting to fall apart.
So this is a separate cell to that one.
Yeah. So that's one cell, and this is the other one, which is just kind of exploding. And that's a really natural process. So all of our cells kind of divide and grow, and then die off in this process called apoptosis. And that's something that sometimes goes awry in cancer. So cancer being uncontrolled cell growth, where the normal mechanisms of the cell have been hijacked by the cancer messaging. So this is a particular type of cell. Has anyone heard of Henrietta Lacks? So this is a HeLa cell. So it's one from the Henrietta Lacks cell line. A lot of our scientists use it. It's a kind of immortal cell line that comes originally from a woman called Henrietta Lacks who had cervical cancer and gave her cells. And it's slightly controversial because she never actually consented. And so people are now using her cells all over the world. You can order them in and they'll be posted to you. But I think it's really wonderful that she's had this legacy as well. So that's that.